Thank you everyone for coming, and look forward to hearing Dori's story.
Okay. All right, well, my name is Dori. I am the franchisee owner and developer of Molly's Cupcakes. It is an iconic brand in Chicago that started in 2007. And now currently it operates in 5 different states and 14 locations. So I wanted to come in and share my story. I've met Avi at a couple of different events, and I just, honored and grateful to be here. So thanks the team and Avi and the board for having me. So I would like to tell you a little bit about Molly's and then my journey, how I started with Molly's. Our mission is celebrating life sweet moments with Molly's Cupcakes. It is an iconic brand, as I said earlier, and it has such a nostalgia where a lot of our customers, they remember going back when at the Clark, the original location, going back there when we first opened, and just continue to celebrating life's most important moments as they got married and had kids and their weddings. And of course we do more than cupcakes, right? We do cakes and we do a lot more other sweets. But I started my journey in hospitality about 20 years ago. I'm an immigrant woman. I came here 28 years ago from Albania. And food has always been the way how we show love, where I grew up, right? My grandma was a very well-known chef in our hometown, and she would always cook for dignitary people and all that. So this is how I grew up, serving others, right? Then I entered after kind of done all the kind of work as an immigrant, I went from serving table to bartender to managing restaurants and whatnot. Then I entered the corporate world, Cheesecake Factory, where I gave them 11 years as a general manager. And I also traveled with them. I opened 5 locations, Novi, Michigan, Kentucky, and Ohio. So I traveled, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of commitment, and Cheesecake Factory is a boot camp, being the general manager for that. Long hours, work every weekend, and in the meantime, I also had to be a mother of 2 boys, right? So it's not easy, right? The grind is there, the resilience is there, but as an immigrant woman, that's really one of the choices that I had, pursuing career, pursuing corporate world, and getting that experience that I wanted to, further grow and further push myself. And Cheesecake Factory really taught us the best when it came to taking care of others. It's not just about food. It's about taking care of people. It's about creating memories. This industry, hospitality industry, you have to have a passion for it. You can't do it for the bottom line, or you can't do it for the paycheck, right? You work with people, you work, under pressure. There's a lot that you put in, so you have to have that passion of serving others, and that's really what hospitality industry is about. So I did 11 years as a general manager, and I realized that all that passion that I was given in the corporate world of 11 years, I wanted to really, have my own business. That's always been the drive that I have moving in this country, right? Building my dream. America is truly the country of dreams, and everything is possible if you put your heart and your passion into it. Same thing when I started my journey with Cheesecake. It was heavily male-dominated position as a general manager. So I started as the first 2 years as a manager, and I was told that to become a GM, you have to be with us at least minimum 5 years and go through the training process. And I broke that barrier, I became a GM within 3 years. So when you put your heart and your passion and your hard work, everything is possible. So don't settle for the status quo. Don't settle for what they tell you to do, right? You have to apply yourself. I always say apply yourself above and beyond, because it's your name, it's your reputation, it's your journey, where you want to be and what you want to do. And I always wanted to become an entrepreneur. So I felt like I was well equipped with the system and the experience from such a successful company as Cheesecake Factory. And that's where, I went into ownership. And I fell in love with Molly's Cupcakes. I found Molly's Cupcakes. Why Molly's? A lot of people's like, how did you land it with Molly's? Well, first it has to be the product. Winning Cupcake Wars and National Food Network season finale 1. I did bring that later today, the peach cobbler. It's definitely the product, right? But it's also the engagement and the story that Molly has. And we work with a lot of local schools. So our Cake Better Cupcake, we always donate 10% of the proceeds to low-funded local schools that we have. So we're really involved in the communities. And after all, Molly was a teacher. So how fitting, right? Third grade teacher. John that started the company moved to New York, and everything, one of my long-term, when I grew up in Albania, my father is also a professor, so I almost went through the same footprints as becoming a teacher like him, but then moving to America, I kind of proceeded with hospitality, which, in a sense, we teach everything. We teach our staff. Most of our employees are either graduating high school or just starting college, so we kind of prepare, we teach the workforce going into the independence world out there, right? And how could I not fall in love with Molly's Cupcake? And again, the product is one thing, but the stories really what captivated me, community, and quickly, I opened the first location in 2018, and within a few months, COVID hit, and everything was like at a standstill. It's like, oh wow, what do we do now, right? But that's when a lot of people were craving the sweets, and that's when a lot of people were fascinated with baking and doing a lot of home cooking and so forth. And we saw this opportunity where I started to develop more locations. Because Molly was well known in the city, but not so much in the suburbs. And I worked closely with bank institutions, so I developed my business through SBA loans, Small Business Administration loans. So this is how I grew my business. And we opened strategically at some of the location, Class A malls. We opened Nobruk, Old Orchard, Rosemont, 3 in the city. We also opened in Southwood location, Fulton Market location, and of course the original Clark location. So, you have to have a brand because we're a specialty, right? People are not going to run for cupcakes like, oh, I'm hungry, let me go get a cupcake. But people are going to run for cupcakes because it's right there in front of you. So that's why our location have to be strategically placed in front of, best locations. So if you go to the Oakbrook Mall or Old Orchard Mall or Rosemont Mall, we are in the high traffic. And those malls have a lot of visitors every year, anywhere from like 60 to 20 some million visitors a year. So that's the kind of exposure that we get for our brand. So you bring that, you build that brand equity. And again, we go back to the product, right? We have all the locations, but it's really truly the product and the people that makes Molly what Molly's is, right? We don't take shortcuts. A lot of people say, how are your cupcakes so good? Consistency, quality ingredients. So the market goes up and down on commodities, as some of you may know, like sugar spikes up and the eggs. I'm sure you remember the eggs about a year or so ago, where we would buy a case of eggs, normally $20, $18, and the eggs went to $100. I'm not joking, $100 case of fresh eggs. So it's the quality ingredient that makes Molly's who Molly's is right now. And we don't take shortcuts because if you start to compromise the quality, people will know right away, right? We use real butter, real eggs, right? Real ingredients, real Dutch cocoa powder that gives you those true flavors. a nostalgia that when you take that bite of the product, it takes you back maybe in your grandma's kitchen, maybe in your mom's kitchen. And we do have the real ingredients that you find in your kitchen, in your cupboards. And no matter what the market brings, we will continue to make the same products from the real ingredients. And those times are tough, right? It's not always perfect. Those times are tough, but we have to pivot. We have to, be careful with our expenses and make sure that we come through, the higher cost of goods and whatnot. Food industry right now is going through a tough time. With tariffs, you have the cost of goods really being high. Labor continues to rise, and you can't really raise the price so much, otherwise somebody can buy them food. So we try to be a premium gourmet brand, but also at the right price point. And it really matters. It really matters the quality, the passion that you put behind it, and it's other people. It's not a big secret. You take care of your people will take care of your product, right? Because it's just one of me, right? But then my team, 68 staff members that are behind me, I work for them, right? They don't work for me, I work for them. You have to treat them right, and really, it's a community. Just like you guys here, this is your community. We have our own community. We take care of each other. If it's the holiday season or birthdays or everything that we do, really we take care of each other because we want people to come and enjoy their work. It's a happy place. We play our music and, we have fun. You have to have fun. You can't just do the grind because if you don't, it's hard to get up every day at 5 a.m. Does anybody here gets up at 5 a.m. every day?
I try to. Never happens.
Yeah, exactly. So we expect our staff to show up every day at 5 a.m. We have an overnight crew that works overnight. Has anybody here tried to work overnight? I don't think so, right? Oh, you have?
Yeah, I've done it before. Yeah, it was okay. You get really exhausted after a while.
Exhausted. You can't function the next day. Would
Yeah.
you do it again? Probably not.
No, yeah, if I could avoid it, yeah, that'd be nice.
Exactly. Exactly. So by taking care of of our team, then we'll take care of our product, right? So we don't take shortcuts in our product, but we also don't take shortcuts in our team. So that's what really our culture is, right? It's the human connection. It's really the fun that we create and what we bring every day to to our customers. We expanded Molly's, and I mentioned a little bit earlier ago that food industry goes through the challenges. This past 6 months, I would say it's been the toughest in the food industry. We've had to shut down the location at Time Out Market because the company pretty much just kind of closed the doors, and they gave us 10-day notice. And now we got to pivot. Exactly. Now we got to pivot. And we got to be like, okay, we've been in this neighborhood for 7 years, and we got to figure out where do we go next. It's like the rug getting pulled under your feet. You turn around. But we're not alone into this. You had Sprinkles. I want to share that story if I may as well. A nationwide company that started in California. They started in 2005, and December 31st of just this year, a month and a half ago, they shut down their doors with 24-hour notice, with not giving their employees the time and all that. And we sit there, we're like, how is that possible, right? Well, the difference is that some of these companies, they get bought by private equity firms, and to them, it's all about numbers, right? And you lose that care and that passion, like this is our brand, this is our company. We can't just, close overnight doors, right? So no matter what, we will fight for it. We will continue to be there, available, right? And thrive, even through tough times. And that's done through a lot of work. waking up early, putting the long hours. As a business owner, you have to wear all the hats. If it's baking or decorating, it's doing sales, being an HR, being anything really, an accountant and all that stuff. But you also have to rely on your team and on your community that you have, right? So I want to step a little bit about the community portion, because you can't be in your little bubble. You can't be like, okay, this is my little business and that's it. I'm part of a organization that's called Let's Talk Women. It's 140 members of us in the food industry in Chicago. And I was a co-host for a good year. I stepped down as, I continue to grow my business, but I'm still a member of Let's Talk Women. And just like any community, we get together every first Wednesday of the month for a good hour. And we talk about our business struggles, and we talk about like, okay, what are the challenges that we're experiencing, right? What are the struggles that all these women in business are experiencing right now, or in the food industry? We're only in the food industry, right? Because there's a lot more out there than 140 of us in Chicago, but just in the food sector. And it really helps to be able to have a community that can share, can listen, and can help. So stay strong with your community. As you go into being an entrepreneur, make sure that you have your community, because it's not easy to go on the journey by yourself, and it's not fun to be on a journey by yourself. We all face the same challenges, we all face the same struggles, wins and opportunities, and it's best because we collaborate and we celebrate each other, and we share together, the struggles that we have as a business. I also went to position myself to be certified as a woman-owned business. They say it's easy, but it's not. Being a woman-owned business, you have to supply a mountain of paperwork with the city of Chicago or whatever other state of Illinois to be certified. And why is that important in the food industry or in any industry really? It may open some doors for you. You may do business with some government institution, which kind of procurements and whatnot. And I didn't know about this until 2 years ago. And it took me a good year and a half to be certified as a woman-owned business after so many years operating my business. And I think that's where Avi and I met a couple of times at some of those procurement, networking events, right? So that's why it's important to create your communities and stay in your communities. Because there's so many outlets out there that can help and support you as you develop your own business, as you go into your own journey, right? So leverage them, right? Have your space, leverage them, because you will need them, right? You will need them. So I am certified as a minority and as a woman-owned business, and I'm pushing my business towards those avenues that maybe I can become a supplier for some of the government institution and whatnot. So it's really, really important that you reach into the community. And that's really what's been the stepping out of my comfort zone, right? It's like learning and navigating it, this whole procurement journey, because at first I was lost. I was like, oh my gosh, where do I begin? So it took a full year and a half to go through the process and to really, really understand the procurement and the FRPs and everything that you go through it, right? Because one of my goals is to become a vendor at airports, O'Hare Airport or Midway Airport, right? Having a presence, it's a solid business model, but it takes time. And in order to do that, you have to kind of position yourself. You go from one layer to the other and whatnot. The other thing that we've done, we've expanded our business by building a centralized kitchen in Bridgeport. And that's where we make all of our product. Because you need input to develop it, right? And we started the first location in Wabash in South Loop. And from there, we closed the rest of the kitchen, the Clark, the Timeout Market, or I'm sorry, the West Loop before Timeout. And we centralized our production for efficiency, consistency, right? So you have one chef, you have one baking team, one decorating team, instead of having multiple cells throughout. It's really figuring out, like, okay, how do you make this model work? And we operate there 7 days a week, and that's really the challenge, right? 7 days a week is not an easy task. It's constantly. When you have a business, you don't turn it off, right? You constantly have to be there. Somebody's gonna reach out to you via email or text or call, right? You're gonna show up, you're gonna be there for your staff, because again, I work for my staff. They don't work for me, I work for them. And really that's the challenges. But I've always trusted myself, my abilities, the experience that I have and my instincts that if you push hard, you build it the right way, you work hard with it, and you have the support of the community, everything is really possible, right? Everything's possible. I mean, I didn't graduate here in America. I'm an immigrant. I came here from a different country, so I chose the path of hospitality and business and hard work. So you guys have so many opportunities through educating yourself, right? You have all the resources that this amazing university is providing you, and why can't you do it? It takes work, but you can do it. You can absolutely do it. You know, we talked about the growth. Where do we go next? You know, with Molly's, it's in 5 different states, and right now, we're looking to bring in some investors to take the next step. Yes, we talked about the private equity that bought Sprinkles and didn't work out, but when they sold Sprinkles, they weren't involved at all in the business, right? The founder of Sprinkles. We want to develop Molly beyond locations that we have right now, and we kind of see the opportunity that there is space in the market. There's market share, especially now the Sprinkles, so you know we kind of see an opportunity there. And our product continues to be consistent. So there really is an opportunity to take Molly's and really grow the model through investors that we're currently talking with and whatnot. It takes some time, but it opens opportunities, and it opens also space for more staff growth for our people. We've promoted within. That's always been our motto to promote within. Our area director started as a cashier. Our sous chef started as a decorator. So it's always best to recognize the talent within. You can't dismiss that, because it's really our people that's enabled us to grow our business. It really is our people to do that, right? Because it takes time to get to know people, their work ethics, and where their heart is and whatnot. So don't dismiss that. Take care of your people, because they'll take care of your business. It's always the integrity of our brand, and then of course the value of Molly's Cupcakes. We always say celebrating life with sweet moments, and that's what Molly's is all about. Staffing, the worst time challenges, right? Every business has its own challenges. I mean, I talked a little bit about right now the challenges that we're facing, the rising cost of goods and labor. Staffing during COVID, we could not hire a single soul to save the life of it. Due to the fact, as you all know, there was all the white checks given by the government, so people didn't really care to work much, and everything was shut down. But during COVID, we really shut down for 2 days, that's it. And we kept going. We took our pivot, right? We took our model from walking traffic into heavily deliveries. So you always have to pivot. Staffing, it's it's always taking care of them and giving opportunity to staff. It's really gonna be the best way that you can always stay ahead when it comes to staffing. Because the productivity is there. If you rotate your staff, then you lose productivity, you lose service. But if you have the same staff, the productivity is way better, right? It's repetition. We become the master of our own repetition, right? So constantly they make the same thing, they're gonna get better and more efficient. So hang on to the people, right? Because it's hard to find good people. Of course, you know, long hours. I mean, if you love to work, then hospitality is the right business for you. But if you want to work the banker's hours, then, you know, banker's hours are there for a reason. But yes, I had times that I've worked 7 days a week, a lot of times, not just a few times. But I also have the flexibility that I can make my own schedule. So there's the beauty of it. There's push, you know, gives and takes, of course, just like everything that you do. You know, tough decisions. It was really tough to have a location closed down because, you know, we lost 10 staff members literally in 10-day notice, and the rest of the time on market had 265 people that went jobless just 2 weeks ago, right? So it's tough because you can't really provide and you can't really figure out like, okay, how do we continue to keep the staff, but some things can just be out of your control too, right? You know, navigating gender dynamics in the business world is not always the easiest. And ever since I started to position myself, getting certified and all that, I see more and more opportunities. So just, you know, have a voice. Make sure that as a woman, have your voice, have your story, have your space, whatever you decide to do, right? Because I'm telling you, we can do it. We're doing it. Absolutely, we're doing it, okay? I talked a little bit about, you know, pivoting, how we switched our business model during COVID to the to-go platforms a lot, and then also centralizing our bakery into one area, which, you know, took a lot of adjustment and a lot of training and whatnot. But we can't keep doing the same thing, otherwise we're going to keep getting the same results. So it's always about being innovative. It's always about pushing ourselves and figuring out how do we continue to build, because it's not like, okay, I built it and now I can just stay at home and be a business owner. It doesn't work like that. You constantly have to push yourself. You constantly have to innovate yourself and figure out, you know, what's next. I mean, I'm going to a networking event. Networking is a huge part of the business, huge part. That's why it's always great to have the communities, but you've got to constantly network, because you don't know that next opportunity that comes in. And I kept going, I kept showing up to this networking event, and I just became a vendor for Sodexo, which is a big deal in the food industry, right? And I did that because I got all my certification, I kept showing up in all these events, I did my capability statement, and you know, and you have to do the grind, you have to show up, you have to keep going. And networking is a good way to build a business. You can't just stop, you can't just be like, hey, we want cupcake wars and that's it. No, it's a lot. So please push yourself, network as much as you can out there. We lost it. Okay. And I'm going to open up some questions in a moment, so I'm sure some of you might have some questions. That look like a picture from Albania, the coastline. Everybody's abilities, everybody's passion, it really, it doesn't matter what others say, but everybody has this giant within you that you just have to discover. You just have to push yourself. And everybody's just good at something, one way or the other. So trust yourself, trust your instincts, believe in yourself. And if you really, really are passionate about something, just do it. Trust your instincts for that as well, right? Just go steady at it. Don't give up. Even when the tough times hit you, you gotta keep going. I'm telling you, we're facing some of the most difficult times right now in the food industry, and we just show up every day. So have your space, keep pushing yourself because it's possible. It absolutely is possible to do it. And of course, it's never perfect, right? I mean, nobody's journey is perfect. I've made some mistakes. I opened a location that I should never open it. I trusted the wrong person to open the location, and I lost money, but hey, you learn from your mistakes. It's okay. Some mistakes are gonna happen, but at the end of the day, we just gotta keep going. We just gotta keep going, okay? So when you face those challenges times, or you're making those mistakes, take a lot of notes because they will come in really helpful for you, as they guide you for your next action, right? So right now, we're pivoting by building our wholesale account because we have the centralized kitchen, we have the space, and I'm knocking on restaurant doors. I'm like, hey, can I become your supplier? Can I become your vendor? And how am I knocking on those doors? Through networking events, by physically showing up. Physically showed up, and last account that I got was at Russian tea time. They do tea party, and I'm like, can I make your mini cupcakes and shooters and all that for your tea towers? And now I have that steady account. So I'm showing up, so it takes a lot of grind and a lot of work. But you gotta believe in your abilities and your product and what your mission is. Where do you wanna be, right? How fast you wanna go or how slow you wanna go. But wherever path you take, just, figure it out and write things down. Don't just do it to do it. Have a business plan. I'm sure they teach all that here in school, so use those tools that you have here to have a business plan and take calculated risks, right? Because without it, you don't want to fail before you start. I mean, we've been in the business since 2007, 19 years, and it's been like this 19 years, right? But that's healthy too, when you have, because it kind of pushes and challenges you every time there's tougher times, how to pivot and what to do, and right now that's why we're focusing our energy a lot into the wholesale account, so we can bake for other businesses, we can become a supplier, we can become a vendor and whatnot. It's always about reinventing yourself. You can't just sit there and hope for the best, right? So that's where we at. We are going strong, and we continue to make amazing products. Again, it's the quality of the product, it's the quality of the people. That's our mission. Celebrating life's sweet moments with Molly's Cupcakes. Yep. So that's my story. And any question, I'll be happy to answer. But I thank you.